You know what's weird? When you finally hit that big milestone you've been grinding for. Maybe it's like 100K subs or that sponsorship you've been dreaming about, and then nothing. You just feel empty inside. Or even worse, you're sitting there thinking, man, if these people knew I had no idea what I'm doing, they'd all unsubscribe and stop watching my Twitch streams. I hear creators talking about this all the time in podcasts, Twitter threads, and even during their Twitch streams. On paper, they're absolutely killing it. Their friends are like, dude, your channel is finally blowing up. I look up to you so much. But in their head, they're thinking, I don't deserve any of this, or it's just a matter of time before everyone figures out I'm really not that special and I have no idea what I'm doing. And listen to this. Researchers have actually looked into this, okay? There's scientific research about this, and they found that over 70% of creators with more than 50,000 followers feel like imposters despite their success. That's not just a few people. That's like most creators feeling this way. I think this stuff matters because we're all out here chasing these milestones thinking, when I hit X number of subscribers or X number of concurrent viewers on Twitch, I'll finally feel like I've made it. But our brains just don't work that way, you know? The numbers are going up, and how we feel inside is like operating on completely different systems. So in this video, I want to break down why success often feels empty even when you achieve it, 3 weird contradictions that mess with creators' heads, and some actual practical stuff that helps. Not just be grateful advice, but real techniques that actually work. Before we get started, are you up for a challenge? If you've been feeling stuck, unmotivated, or just kind of off, I created a free 5-day Feel Better challenge to help you break out of that rut. One small, science-backed step a day. No pressure, no overwhelming stuff. It literally takes less than 5 minutes a day, and again, it's totally free. The link is in the description. Make sure you sign up. Now, let's get into it. So there's this thing us mental health professionals call hedonic adaptation, but I just call it the new normal effect. Basically, no matter what good stuff happens to us, we get used to it super fast. I remember when I first started streaming back in 2021. After like 2 months of streaming, I was so close to hitting the 50 follower requirement for Twitch affiliate. Yes, I live stream stuff on Twitch, and I have a whole gaming channel on YouTube. Check them out if you haven't already. Links are in the description. I kept checking my stats like every hour, seeing if I'd finally hit that 50 follower mark. I was ready to take a screenshot as soon as that number said 50. And then I finally hit it, and I was so hyped and so proud and super excited. I was really looking forward to making channel points finally, or channel rewards, whatever they're called, you know. So I was super ecstatic about this. But then what happened? 2 weeks later, it was just normal. This was just my new baseline. And this keeps happening with every milestone. I was watching this streamer who broke 500K subscribers last year on YouTube, and she shared something really honest with her audience. She talked about how she'd planned this whole celebration. She was gonna pop champagne, go out to this fancy restaurant for dinner, the whole thing. But when the day came and she hit that number, she just didn't feel like celebrating anymore. She told her chat, I thought I'd feel different somehow, but I just feel like the same person with more pressure on me. And this is not just a creator thing. There's this really wild study where they followed lottery winners, like people who won millions of dollars. And guess what? After just a few months, they were basically just as happy or unhappy as they were before they won the millions of dollars. Our brains are adaptation machines. They take whatever your current situation is and go, this is just the new normal now. But here's why I think creators have it especially rough. We live in this world of constant numbers staring us in the face. Most people don't go to their job and see exactly how many people liked their work that day or public comments about everything that they do. We do. When we put content out there, it is up for the world to see. And when your video hits like 50,000 views or something, which is really a lot of people when you think about it, that is an objectively big number, what are you actually focusing on? Are you thinking, wow, 50,000 real humans chose to watch my video? Or are you obsessing over that spot where everyone dropped off in the video, or that one mean comment, or the fact that your video before this one got 70,000 views? I was watching watching this gaming creator's behind the scenes vlog where he documented having a video hit like 2 million views or something, by far his biggest video ever. And instead of celebrating that, he spent like 3 days analyzing why people were clicking off the channel, why they were leaving around like the 4-minute mark. He was completely fixated on this like percentage of people that left the video, not the hundreds of thousands of people who stayed and loved the video. And this isn't because we're ungrateful jerks. Well, most of us are ungrateful for this anyway, but it's because our brains are literally wired to notice the negative stuff more than the positive. It's this survival thing from way back, like our cavemen ancestors, like they had to look out for danger, so they were always looking for bad things in the environment versus focusing on the good stuff, okay? So our brains are like, good stuff? Cool. Bad stuff, this is an emergency. Pay attention. The other problem is that our goals constantly keep moving. When I had 1,000 subscribers on TikTok, a video getting 200 views felt amazing. Like I was really making it when I got 200 views. But now when I get 200 views, I have like over 20K followers now. When I have a video that only gets like 200 views, I'm like, what did I do wrong? Like this video is obviously trash. Like I'm falling off. Even though it's exactly the same number that I was excited about like 3 years ago. It's like playing a video game where the finish line keeps moving away from you every time you get close to it. Do you remember like old school original Super Mario Brothers, and you'd beat Bowser and then Toad would annoyingly say, the princess is in another castle every single time? Like you'd go like 3 times and he'd say, she's in a different castle. It's kind of like that. No wonder we feel like we never make it, because the goal of what we're trying to achieve just keeps moving and usually keeps just going up with the more success we have. So I've noticed there are 3 weird contradictions that happen once creators start getting successful. These aren't just like random problems, they're almost like built-in glitches in every creator's journey. The first one sneaks up on you, but I've noticed that as a person's audience grows, what your audience expects from you grows as well. But what you as a creator expect from yourself grows even faster. There's this research that shows high achievers tend to raise their standards faster than their actual results. So you're always feeling behind even when you're moving forward. I remember when I hit YouTube partner about a year ago now. I should have been celebrating like crazy, right? Like that's a huge milestone. And like I was excited, I was proud of myself. But after that kind of happiness wore off after a few hours, I was like, okay, yeah, you did a good job here, but you're nowhere close to getting a silver play button or being a full-time creator. So I didn't really even enjoy the milestone I'd been working towards for a year at that point. Like I enjoyed it a little bit, but it wore off so fast. And that's because the target moved before I could even high-five myself. I was listening to this podcast once, and it was an interview with a fashion creator who went from 5K to 50,000 or something in just 3 months, because one of her videos went like really viral. And you think that she'd be on cloud 9, right? But instead, she talked about having panic attacks before filming her stuff now, because suddenly she felt like every video had to be viral worthy. But she said something that really stuck out to me, and I remember it like, I think I listened to that 2 years ago. She said, before I was just making content I really enjoyed, but now I feel like if I don't hit at least 100,000 views, I'm disappointing everyone. The success that should have been freeing for her actually became a prison of her expectations. And here's the really frustrating part about it. You know in your gut that whatever got you to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube probably isn't going to get you to 100K. So even when you win, your brain's already like, okay, cool story, bro, but now we have an even bigger mountain to climb. The second contradiction I see is what I've been calling the authenticity cage. Most of us built our audience by being real, by sharing our genuine thoughts and personality. But then this weird thing happens when you start growing your audience. Brene Brown actually talks about this pretty frequently in her research, and she points out that the more people connect with the real you, the more trapped you feel in having to stay exactly that version of yourself. Even though people naturally change and grow, and as creators, we branch out and we change niches and stuff, like we feel trapped of how we originally started. So, example for you, when I started streaming on Twitch, I started streaming only Hollow Knight. I'd never played it before, so that's the game I played, and I instantly fell in love with it, and I got to like 15 viewers on average only streaming Hollow Knight, okay? And like 15 concurrent viewers on average on Twitch is really good, even though it sounds like a small number, like that's good, okay? So only streaming Hollow Knight, right, for months. And I loved the game, but I started playing it so much that I started getting bored with those streams. It felt really stale. And I wanted to branch out to other games or try more just chatting, just like experiment with my content. But I caught myself thinking, if I pivot or if I try something different, is this just going to be self-sabotage because my audience only knows me for Hollow Knight? So the very authenticity that got me to that success started feeling like handcuffs. There was a comedy creator that I listened to once. Like, yeah, I used to listen to a lot of podcasts. I'm trying to get back into it. Anyway, this comedy creator, and they built their channel around making like jokes about being single and how much dating sucks and disaster stories about dates, okay? But then he eventually met someone and he fell in love and they got engaged, which is super, super exciting, right? Like, good for him. Except he posted this really sad, like, Twitter thread about it, and he was talking about how he was having like an identity crisis about his content now, because he says, like, am I allowed to be happy on my channel? Will you all leave if I'm not this perpetually single disaster that you all subscribed for and know me for? So he was literally afraid that his personal happiness would tank his career. Like, how messed up is that when you really think about it? He was so afraid that being I can't speak now. He was so afraid that his authenticity and sharing that with his audience would just completely destroy everything he worked hard on. And the third contradiction I see messes with your head in a different way. So when good things happen in your creator journey, you are often stuck asking, did I actually earn this or did I just get lucky? I hear people talk about this one all the time. Like, it's just luck versus like it's skill. Like, which one really is it? But let's be real about YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all the platforms really. Their algorithms are a complete mystery. Like, yeah, we have ideas about like human psychology and what people enjoy watching, and we've got some data that can inform our decisions, but we don't really know what the algorithm is. So when a video pops off, was it because you made something brilliant, or did you just happen to hit some random algorithmic sweet spot? You never really know. And research shows that when successful people aren't sure if they deserve credit for their success, they're way more likely to feel like imposters and develop imposter syndrome. Here's another example for you. There's this tech creator that I used to watch a lot during the pandemic, and their channel blew up. Went from like 10K to over 1 million subscribers in like a year. It was very, very fast, okay? And they did this video about a year after that pop off, where they admitted that they were almost paralyzed with fear about making content now, because they were attributing their success to 100% the pandemic timing. Like saying, if the pandemic didn't happen, none of this would have happened for me. And they felt like a fraud because she felt like when real creators started posting again, then she would lose all of that success. So she was literally apologizing for her success while simultaneously being afraid of it. So this creates this really weird mental split where the world is telling you you're successful, but in your head, you're thinking, if it was just luck, then I don't deserve this and it could go away anytime. All right, so we've talked about why success often feels terrible, but what can we actually do about it? Is there any way to fix any of this? I think there is, and I want to share 3 things that I think would really help creators. These aren't just fluffy, like, believe in yourself tips, keep going stuff. These are actual practices that I really do think are going to help bridge the gap between the success you have and how you actually feel about it. The first one fights our brain's negativity bias directly. We talked about that, right? And I'm going to call this success journaling, but it's really just building evidence against your own self-doubt. Yes, it's about journaling, because as much as people want to poo-poo on journaling, it actually really, really works. You should check out this video about it. So in your success journaling, what you're going to do is you can get a journal or just a piece of paper, whatever, but one specific day every week, you're going to do these things, okay? You're going to write down 3 specific wins from the week. These could be tiny, they could be huge, like it doesn't matter, whatever victories you have in your content that week. Then you're going to note what skills or decisions led you to those wins, okay? And then we're going to connect these two to why you're creating content in the first place. So a win might be something like that editing technique I tried got multiple positive comments. The skill was your willingness to learn something new, and it connects to your goal of becoming a better visual storyteller. So why exactly does this work, okay? Our brains are evidence collecting machines. When you're feeling inadequate or just not good enough, your brain pulls up all the evidence that confirms that belief. And doing this over time builds a competing pile of evidence you can actually look at. So if you're looking at the positive stuff, you're retraining your brain to find that evidence of your success, okay, and not the negative stuff. I had this really rough spot a few months ago where I was just convinced that my content was trash and I wasn't growing and just like what I was doing didn't matter, okay? So with my success journaling, I actually was able to find a record of 15 different creative problems like I'd tackled in the last 2 months, okay? And I'd completely forgotten about these wins, but seeing that really helped get me out of that rut, okay? Our brains are just so good at erasing our wins. We need to keep a track record of them so we can reflect back on them when we need to. The second strategy tackles the problem of endless shifting metrics that never feel like we are enough. So instead of just tracking views and subscribers, start tracking what I call values-based metrics. These are things that align with why you're actually creating in the first place. If you've ever tried to lose weight before, there's a thing that people call non-scale victories. It's kind of the same thing. So instead of like focusing on the weight that you're losing, you can point out like, oh, my jeans feel looser. I was able to walk 5 minutes without getting out of breath. So things that are victories that aren't exactly weight loss, like it's obviously it's success, you're making good progress toward your weight loss goals, but it's not weighing yourself, okay? So for example, one of my core values and why I started this channel specifically is helping creators overcome mental barriers. So I have started keeping a collection of comments where people share specific ways my stuff has helped them have a breakthrough or just feel better about themselves, because those mean infinitely more to me than the view counts, and those don't lose their value over time. So what values drive your content? If it's education, maybe track moments where you explain something in a way that finally made sense to someone. If it's creative expression or entertainment, maybe it's videos where you fully executed your vision, regardless of how they performed and the views it got. These metrics stay meaningful even when algorithms change or numbers fluctuate. The last technique is what I like to call reality checking, and it's about closing the gap between how others see you and how you see yourself. Without this reality check, success feels really fake or really temporary. You've got 2 completely different stories happening. The external one where you're doing really well, and the internal one where you're struggling. So here are some practical steps to get your reality check. When someone compliments your work, just say thank you. We have a tendency to just explain it away, like, oh, it was just luck. I just got lucky. The algorithm just liked me that day. I could have done better. Just say thank you. It's surprisingly simple to do, but we brush off our success so much. Just say thank you. It is so powerful. Similar to what we talked to in number 2, keep a folder of messages from people your content has actually helped and review it when you're feeling like a fraud or really suffering from some imposter syndrome. And talk regularly with other creators who get it. Not just networking, okay? Like, we're not doing just that, but actual vulnerable conversations about the mental side of creating with other creators you trust. This last point, the community part, has really been huge for me. I've started sharing more about psychology and creator wellness stuff on Twitter recently, and we need people who can say, you're not crazy for feeling this way, and let me point out some things you're not seeing about your journey, or I've gone through this before, here's what helped me. Like, we're not in this alone. Pretty much every creator suffers from these things at some point. So here's the thing, that gap between your subscriber count and how you actually feel inside isn't something that just magically disappears when you hit some magic number. But the difference isn't that successful creators don't have these feelings. We all do. Like, I hear these from creators that are just starting to creators with millions of views every single month and making thousands of dollars every single month. The successful creators, or successful big views, however you want to say it, those creators have developed specific tools to help deal with these internal struggles. They found ways to bridge the gap between that external success and the internal experience. Or at least hopefully they're working on that. Every creator's journey comes with its own mental battles. I'm actually super curious. What's the biggest disconnect you've experienced between your success and how you feel about yourself as a creator? Put it in a comment below, because I actually do try to read all of them. And honestly, just knowing we're not alone in these feelings really helps a lot. If this video was helpful, please share it with a creator friend who might be struggling with this stuff, and consider subscribing for more content on the psychology side of creating.